Well, as you can see, we've made our way into our kitchen, and here to make her honey braised pumpkin tart with toasted marshmallow topping, please welcome back the executive pastry chef and co-owner of Cake Monkey Bakery, Elizabeth Belkind.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
It smells so good too. As you can see, our entire family is very excited to be here. Shirley,
Ready to go.
And
Oh, you already started.
They're already bellied up to the bar. So this is a pumpkin tart with no pumpkin.
No pumpkin.
It's a pumpkin-less pumpkin tart.
Well, yes. You know, this time of year you see pumpkin everything everywhere, and I thought I had to make something that was outstanding and a little bit different. So I started experimenting with different squashes.
Okay. Because pumpkin is a squash.
It's a squash.
Yeah.
It's very loosely defined, you know.
Okay.
And I found out, as a matter of fact, that canned pumpkin is not pumpkin. It's a lot of winter squashes mixed.
Yes, is that right? Exactly.
So
Which is, by the way, is why it probably tastes sweeter.
Yeah, and this way you can kind of manipulate the texture, the color,
That's
the
nice.
sweetness, the nuttiness, the flavor. So
what pumpkin excuse me, what non-pumpkin are we starting with?
So I'm using a butternut squash
Okay.
and a kabocha squash.
Okay, so this goes in a baking pan, right, or a Pyrex?
Exactly.
So we dump
So
all
we're
that
gonna
in.
Combine both our squashes.
Okay, and they're both pretty soft once you roast them, correct?
They should be fork tender, so
Okay.
yeah. And then we're going to combine this with sweet condensed milk.
Oh my goodness, which
tasted
makes everything better. That's
Everything's
amazing.
better with
I mean, wow. It's like the nectar of the gods.
It is. And then, as if that's not enough, then honey.
Which is good for you, Cameron. That's
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm getting health food all over this,
healthy.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And then some heavy cream.
Okay, so is heavy cream important?
It is important. Basically, what we're doing here is braising all the ingredients so that we end up with something like very rich and custardy.
So you wouldn't use milk, whole milk, or
No.
heavy cream for
Why
sure.
bother with
Okay.
milk,
And
right?
by braising, you mean like a low and slow type thing, or
Yes.
like okay?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it doesn't take as long as like if you're braising meat that takes hours and hours. With this, it'll take about 25 minutes.
Okay.
So you put the whole vanilla bean in there.
Whole vanilla bean. We'll take
Perfect.
it out before we puree.
And you prefer vanilla bean over vanilla extract?
Salt.
Oh, a little bit of salt.
Yes,
Okay.
always salt. It balances the flavors. And this just goes in the oven, 325
Wow.
For 30 minutes,
30
you
minutes,
said?
yes.
I've never seen that.
Okay, put that in. There we
Yep.
go.
Okay.
And then once we take that out, we then we let it cool and we puree it.
Puree it, and then we're going to mix it with our egg yolks.
Okay, we mix with our egg yolks and we put it in the refrigerator for a second to set.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go get that right now. Here we go. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
There it is.
Oh, that's a great color.
Oh, look at that. That looks like
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put this in here.
We're going to put the yolks in,
Okay.
and then just whisk it real quickly.
And then
And
we pour it
then-
in your homemade graham cracker crust.
See, this is where it gets ridiculous.
Oh,
Just like,
So,
I love graham crackers.
my reason for doing this was, so the custard is very sweet, and I needed something, like I always like to introduce a little bit of bitterness into desserts.
Sure.
So this has a very distinct burnt honey taste.
That's great, yeah.
Can you show me your graham cracker
Yes,
for one
this
moment?
is our homemade
Oh my
graham
gosh.
cracker.
So this is, I can't imagine what a s'mores would look like in your bakery.
I can.
Because that would be a ginormous. And look. Hi, everybody.
Wow.
It's bigger than a person's head. That's amazing. I don't know how you could actually make it a s'mores. You'd have to put it in a pizza oven.
Well, we make little ones. Perfect.
So then to make that, you crunch that up and you
Yeah, we pulverize it
Like
and then
this.
mix it with sugar and butter so that it'll actually become something that you can kind of shape into a crust.
and there you go. and
there
then
we
we
go.
pour that in,
Yes,
just
pour
like
it
this, and
in.
it goes back in the oven for how long?
It goes into the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes, and every oven's going to be a little bit different. So the way you can, there we go, that's good.
Oh,
the way you can
that's
gauge,
gorgeous.
And the color's beautiful.
yeah.
It is beautiful.
And it, it varies
Yeah.
depending on what squash you use, but
And would you put it on a baking sheet like that?
yes, you'll put it on a baking sheet
Okay.
and pop it back into the oven.
You said 30, 35 minutes at 325 again?
Yeah, and the way you know that it's done is when you pull it out of the oven, you can just jiggle it a little bit, and it should be barely set. Like the center should be still a little bit jiggly.
Still jiggly.
If you bake it all the way through, it'll crack.
Oh, right.
So you don't
know-
need to add water like a bain marie or anything like that.
No.
All right, so
You don't
here
need
it is. Here we have it here, but we're not finished yet. I mean, we could be, but
But
why?
we're not. Yeah.
So you're gonna add your sort of marshmallowy topping, which is really a meringue.
It's basically, a meringue, which is the perfect complement to this tart. It's airy and toasty, and then you have a creamy center and a crunchy bottom.
and it's pretty. It's easy to make a meringue. I think people get intimidated.
Oh, it's so easy.
I could literally eat any of these on their own.
Yeah.
The crust, the filling, the meringue. I mean, it's all so tasty. Put them together. and
beautiful,
forget it. I'm
right?
done.
Oh my gosh.
So you can be as generous with this as you want.
Be
Now
generous,
this is
like generous.
this is not something that would keep well in the refrigerator,
No.
I imagine, because of the meringue.
Yeah, the meringue, as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit watery. But if you put it in the fridge and it comes in contact with any kind of moisture in your fridge,
It's over.
yeah,
So if you have leftover, which you probably won't,
eat it.
you would just leave it on the counter, probably, right?
Oh.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Oh, I've
safety
never seen-
first.
I've never seen-
But wait a second. You ready for this?
I'm not.
never
Should we
seen
put
this
some more?
before.
So fun.
Hold on. I want to put some more. If that's okay with you, Elizabeth.
Be
I feel
generous,
like
Elizabeth,
we
be
should
generous.
really let's
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
peaks going here. I want
this
you
is
to
hot turn.
really make this happen.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry
Stand by.
about
Don't make it happen that fast.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
You have your fingers a little close to the.
Yeah, I know. What fingers? They're gone. There you go.
Okay, so
Watch
then you're
this.
just going to
Oh, look at
That's
that.
pretty.
toast.
No, let me ask
I
you,
have
what
never
if-
seen that before.
What if you didn't?
Really?
Child.
Elsie.
If you don't have a torch, you can put it back into the oven. I would just crank up the heat and put it in the oven for about, 5 minutes longer. And
That.
it'll be done.
Can you make meringues with the rest of the eggs or no? Not really.
No.
It's not the same.
For meringues, you would need a much drier.
Could you
meringue.
keep the meringue? Could you keep the meringue in like a Tupperware thing? So you just make it's one shot.
Yeah, one
Get it,
shot.
Okay.
Yeah, make it, use it.
Eat it.
I want to point
Eat
out
it.
that Debbie is
Use
already
it,
doing
eat it,
it.
get rid of
I'm going to tell you why. Because not that I'm opposed to this one,
Yeah.
because it's delicious, but it's been sitting. This one is fresh.